Hello, good day everyone. I'm back. My name is Qasim. I am a Canadian citizen currently living in Canada, Halifax, and my wife is a Moroccan citizen currently in Morocco, waiting for her permanent resident application to be approved so she can join me in Canada. I like to give some information and details about sponsorship and about my experience in this. I like to mention that many of the information I'm going to say in this video is about my personal experience and it's not a general rule. So things could be different for everybody, things could change, rules are changing every day. The coronavirus pandemic makes it hard where things are rapidly changing. So again, this is on my own experience, and feel free to ask me anything, to comment, to ask for more clarification, and I would be happy to say to the best of my ability. I have really good knowledge in Immigration Canada in general. I dealt with Immigration Canada several times. I also was helping many friends with their applications, regard whether it's a refugee status application, it's a permanent resident, or Canadian citizenship in order for them to obtain their passport. Different applications. I've been doing this for years. So with Immigration Canada, anybody who is Canadian citizen or permanent resident get married from non-Canadian and like to sponsor them, they're allowed to do that. There are few rules as a sponsor you have to meet in order for you to be a sponsor. Most people who should be all people who are going to apply to bring their spouses into Canada, they should know what are the rules. But in general, you have to be Canadian citizen or permanent resident. You have to be making income. You can't be on social assistance or what we call welfare, taking help from the government. You have to be working and making income, enough income in order for you to support yourself and support your wife or husband when they come to Canada. You also can't have certain criminal background. Some criminal background is okay, depends on what is it, but if something is severe or big, they might deny your application because of that reason. Also, one important thing, if you have been sponsored yourself in the last 5 years, you're not able to sponsor somebody. So if, for example, your parents, your brother, you were married at that time less than 5 years ago and you got sponsored to become Canadian permanent resident or Canadian citizen, it has to be Canadian permanent resident, and then to obtain your citizenship is just a matter of time. So if you were sponsored yourself in less than 5 years, you can't sponsor somebody else. You have to finish the 5 years, which is the time of sponsorship. Now, when you bring your wife or husband to Canada, you're signing that you're sponsoring them for 5 years. You're responsible for their finances and well-being and their status in Canada. And that's what they call the undertaking agreement. Now, when you send the application, let's say I got married in Morocco and we finish. I have my marriage certificate. So now I want to send the application to bring my wife. There are several applications, maybe 8 or 9, in some cases 11. It depends on the person. If the wife is single and has no kids, that's one application. If you're bringing your wife or husband and they have been married, they have kids, they have more family, so there are more applications based on the situation. So I filled all the applications. I did it all myself. If you have a little bit of confidence, it's an application. It tells you, your personal information. You write it, your work, you write what you do, your address, you write it. So this is like 90% of the applications is just writing your personal information and your spouse information and her or his family information. That's 90% of the applications. There are so many offices, or what they call them like immigration consultants, and those consultants, they advertise that they help you and with your immigration papers and your immigration applications. So you go and you tell them, well, I got married, I'm going to bring my wife or my husband, let's say my wife as my case. They tell you, yes, okay, here are the applications, we need this information for you. So they ask you for all the information that the application requires, it whatever in the application they ask you, because they want to put it down. They ask you to type it down on a computer and send it to them electronically. So all what they do is just copy paste. They fill the application, they ask you for so many documents, you bring them the documents, and then they put the application with the documents and they send it by mail, and they charge you between $1,000 and $2,000. $1,400 or so, that's like or $1,200, that's an average cost just to send you the application. So you're going to write all the information, you're going to give them all the documents. Why don't you put it together and send it and save the $1,400? They are legit, they are legal, and they are authorized by the government to do this as a business. These people are not lawyers, they have nothing to do with law or legal activities or anything. They're just some people with some knowledge in immigration, and they just get the approval to open this office to help people with their immigration status. So they are consultants. Some people say, you know, I had a lawyer. They just say it, you know, but it's not lawyer. They have nothing to do with law or lawyers. So this is my advice. Try to do it yourself. Save yourself the money. In my personal experience, these people will cause you delay. If you are thinking of doing something faster, these people will cause you delay. It's faster if you do it yourself. The only time I would say go to these people if you are really afraid of filling the applications, or if you make so many mistakes, or if you can't even like write the application with your information. That's what these people do. Just write it for you. Ask a friend for help. It's just writing information. So again, this you decide if you're going to deal with these people or no. But in my own experience, I find it easier for me to do it myself. I find it easier. If I deal with them, that's harder and more complicated and takes more time and money. Why would I do it? That's my own opinion. So I filled all the applications, I collected all the documents. The government is very clear. Government in Canada, they tell you exactly what they need. This. None of the documents at all requires to be attested or certified. Only when you have a translation, because my marriage certificate or contract from Morocco is in Arabic. I cannot send it in Arabic. It has to be in English or French, one of the two official languages we have in Canada. So I translated that. The translation has to be attested, because it's not, I can't just write something, I type it myself and send it and tell them this is the proper translation. It has to be attested, certified. So that's the only thing. All other documents, as long as they are in English or French, none of them has to be certified or attested. And this contradicts what the consultants would tell you. They would tell you, you have to certify this, you have to approve this, you have to attest this. This is all baloney. It has nothing to do with the truth. They just pretend to show you that they're doing a lot of work on your behalf to justify taking $1,400 from you. And they tell you, the government will tell you on the checklist clearly, do not send any original documents or certified documents unless we ask you. It's clear stated there. So anyway, I sent all the applications, I sent all the documents, and after almost a month or 5 weeks, they sent me instructions letter for my wife to go do her medical check. And this was like very fast, way faster than everybody else. Like I know hundreds of people who are in the process of their sponsorship application, but I was lucky enough to do that. So my wife went and did her medical check. She did her biometrics, which is fingerprints. And now with the fingerprints, they take a shot for the face. It's a face recognition. I don't know if they look at the face recognition. as an extra measure to identify people. So she did all of that after like 5 or 6 weeks from sending the application. And after that, my sponsorship application, so we're talking about two things separate. You have the sponsorship and you have permanent resident. Sponsorship is the government accept me as a sponsor and I'm eligible to be a sponsor to sponsor my wife. At that stage, they will start processing the permanent resident application because I'm approved. So when they send me the documents for her to do medical check and biometrics, they approved my sponsorship application, which I know it's approved because they tell you in order to be approved, you have to meet these points. And I met the points, so I know I'm approved. This is the level of confidence you all should have when you send the application, because they tell you if you meet this and this and this and this, you're approved. If you know yourself, you meet this and this and this, you know you're approved. This isn't like no magic. It takes some time. Sometimes we might ask you for more clarification or more information about certain things, but that's the general rule. Now they're processing the application for permanent resident. All the documents are there, everything they ask for are there, all the supporting documents are there. Now it's clear, it's approved. Like I know it's approved, but they can't right away approve it for you. They only process so many applications every month. They have a number, like a quota they have to meet. After that, they don't process applications. This is the reason why some applications take a year or 2 years or 15 months or whatever, different applications. Because if you give the permanent resident application to any employee in that office, they can look at it for half an hour, determine that all the documents are there, determine that medical check is approved, determine that biometrics are current, that's approved, it's ready to go. But they hold it because they can't process all the applications at once. They look at the people in the application. In Canada, and that's where I talk about Canada because I don't know about other countries, we have different provinces, we call them province. In the United States, they call them a state, but in Canada, we call them province. So different provinces, the provinces that need more people, the application for permanent resident will be a lot faster than the provinces that don't need more people. So for example, if this province, they need to bring 100,000 people this year, and they have 500,000 application, they're only gonna bring 100,000 and keep the 400 for next year. But if this province, they need more people and not many applicants, they take them right away. So that was one of the reasons why my application went faster, because I'm in Nova Scotia. Nova Scotia is one of the provinces that not many people apply to go to, and they need people there, so it goes faster. Some other provinces like Quebec or Ontario, these are the biggest two provinces in Canada, and the majority of immigrants go to those two provinces, and that's why sometimes it's a little bit slower. Now with this, I'm waiting now for the final steps, even though I only applied a few months ago, but some people have been waiting for more than a year. Don't calculate the time that the embassy was closed due to COVID. Last year was different than any other year, because the majority of the year, the embassy in Morocco, the Canadian embassy, or even like all the embassies were closed. So there is a 6 months period where they didn't do anything. So remove those 6 months. It's not part of the process because they were closed because of the pandemic. And even now, the Minister of Immigration in Canada a couple months ago announced that they want to bring around 420,000 people this year to Canada, and more than 400 next year, and more than 400 the year after. So about 1.2 million people in 3 years, just to substitute for the losses for last year, because last year they didn't bring immigrants the numbers they had due to COVID. So they want to substitute in the next 3 years to bring more people. And this is actually causing things to be faster. So things should go faster from now on, because now the situation is stable in the world. We know about coronavirus, we know how to deal with it. Even if we get a surge in cases, or if we get like fourth wave and fifth wave. Now we finished the third wave and we just overcome it. We know the coronavirus, not like when it was new and started where everything just shut down. So things should go faster now because the Canadian government want to bring more people. I assume that's the case for some other countries as well. I can't speak for other countries. I cannot speak for other embassies. But if you have any question about Canadian sponsorship, about Canada, about how to do with Canadian applications, how to do with anything has to do with Canada or sponsorship or Morocco, this is my area of knowledge. I can't comment. Other than that, I'm sorry. You could also ask me. I could try to do some search and see what I can find with you for you and give you the right answer. But that's all what I have in this short video. I hope I gave you some insight about some things. Feel free to ask me anything, write any comments, write it below the video or send me a message or anything you want. I'm always happy to talk and help as much as I can. Have a great day and all the best for all of you.